Now, a couple of weeks ago, I asked you guys to send in your handstand push-up questions, and I'm going to answer those today. So let's kick off with the first one. I can do about 8 handstand push-ups against the wall with good form. I can do about 3 or 4 freestanding negative handstand push-ups. I have to do these very slow, not to lose balance. Takes me like 5 to 7 seconds each. I can even do these negatives to a small box for extended range of motion, but I can't do a single freestanding handstand push-up. I feel like I lack strength to get even one. How do I fill that gap? Okay, so this is quite common. We build up the strength against the wall, we can rep those out. We even have some freestanding balance, which is awesome. And you can come all the way down for an eccentric to that deficit position or that shoulder stand position, which I recommend you keep doing and keep refining that movement so you can just rep those out at any speed. So really nice and slow, and also some faster ones coming down and finishing in that controlled shoulder stand position at the bottom. The bit you're missing is the balance section and learning to use overbalance to help us get out of the bottom of the handstand push-up and work that concentric. So what I'd recommend is you use something like a yoga block for partial range reps. So have it on its highest point to start with, come down, touch the block, go back up, show control. If that feels okay and you can do that for 2 or 3 reps, turn the block over so you go down a little bit deeper, come back up again. Now what we want to do here is come down the handstand push-up line like this, so our feet come backwards, our shoulders come forwards, and then when we come back up, touch the target with the head and then come back up like this. So we want to scoop back up. So try not to extend too much, because we don't want to extend and then push up through extension too much, because you'll tend to fold through the body. We want to try and keep the body one piece from the feet to the shoulder, but have this movement that takes you up like this. You can bend the legs a little bit, you can scorpion a touch, but just make sure that doesn't get out of control. But you want to learn to go into that overbalance to like scoop yourself back out. And you can really learn this on these partial range repetitions. So I would keep working those eccentrics to make sure you're getting the full range of motion, but work the partial range as well. So going off your numbers, I believe you're definitely strong enough, but what we want to do is fill the gaps with the balance as well. You don't want to be putting energy into rebalancing the handstand, which takes away energy from the handstand push-up. So the better we can become at balance, the easier it's going to be, and then use that overbalance to scoop us out of the handstand push-up, learning that through those partial range repetitions. And you could also do things like crow to handstand. Okay, number 2, when I do handstand push-ups, I feel pain somewhere around the scapula near the rear delt. It would be great help if you could tell me what it is and how to fix it. Now, it's very hard to give advice around pain in the body. I'd recommend that you go get checked by a physio, or just try and work out where the pain's coming from. And also just video yourself when you're doing the movement and just see if you're collapsing. You know, if someone's doing a push-up and they look nice and strong and they come up and down, and you know the opposite to that is when they're collapsed and then they're doing that same push-up, you would expect that person not to feel great through the shoulder blades. They might get discomfort in their low back, and you can visually see that. So video yourself doing it and just check that you're not collapsing through the position. You could turn your hands more external rotation, that creates more space. Have the hands a little bit wider, that creates more space as well. And just try and keep more active when you come up and down and not collapsing through the scapula. They're all things that I would try. But like I say, if you do have pain, I recommend that you get checked by a physio or someone who can assess you in person. Is the scorpion handstand push-up very different from a straight handstand push-up? If so, how? What are the differences? I mean, scorpion handstand push-up without momentum or rolling. Now, the cool thing with a scorpion handstand push-up is it faces the chest towards the floor instead of the shoulders towards the floor. And when we push in this position like a bench press, we're much stronger than when we push overhead. Most of you will know that from like barbell lifting. Your overhead press isn't as strong as your bench press. So something like the scorpion, where we can get into a full scorpion position and actually face the floor and stay in that position when you push up and down, is going to be easier for some people, as long as the scorpion is more comfortable for them. So you will see contortionists, circus performers, and who are very flexible do scorpion handstand push-ups while they're performing, because it also saves energy. Now, we have done some coaching. I know your body type, and I know that you will adapt very nicely to that scorpion handstand push-up. So I'd recommend that you do keep working towards that, because I think that'll be a very cool skill, especially to tie in with the contortion work that you're doing. I can do handstand push-up using wall, but when I try to do freestanding, then when pushing up, I lose balance, or sometimes I arch like a banana. How can I fix that? So this is where I'd practice those real slow eccentrics. So first we want to check that we can come down, keeping our shoulder to our feet one piece, coming all the way down, ideally to that deficit position, that shoulder stand position. without losing position. So a lot of people, as they come down on their eccentric, they arch, they lose position, and then when they try and push back up, their push is getting stuck in their body where it's arched. So you'll tend to go into the low back, you'll collapse, and your hips and your legs will fall down towards under balance, and you'll feel heavy that way. Or the opposite will happen, and your feet and your legs will go over the top, and you'll banana over and fall onto your back. So real slow eccentrics can help fill that gap. But also when you're doing your wall handstand push-ups, check that you're coming up and down the wall as that one piece and your body line is doing this and you're not arching against the wall. You can get away with a slight arch against the wall, but when you try and do it freestanding, you'll tend to collapse. So I'd be doing a self-assessment video yourself on a really slow eccentric handstand push-up freestanding. If you can't get that, really assess yourself up against the wall, video from the side so you can see what's happening to your body line as you go up and down. Can I learn the 90-degree handstand push-up training the normal handstand push-up but with more lean? Yes, you could progressively take your shoulders further forwards, take the feet backwards, and then slowly go down and come back up, and then you could slowly make that further and further each time, getting closer and closer towards that 90-degree position. So yes, I think that would probably work. It's going to take a bit of time, but what I also do as well is work eccentric, so just doing the down phase, going all the way down, trying to finish in a bent arm planche of some sort, whether that's elbows in, so externally rotate as you come down, you can actually turn your hands and push your elbows in, or starting your handstand push-up if you can. So starting your handstand with your hands turned out more, so you've got like a shelf to land on at the bottom. But I would also be training the bent arm planche separately, because we want to make that bottom position where you have to change direction very strong and comfortable. There is some variations you can do on P-bars and on the edge of a box where you start in a shoulder stand and then you lean forwards and go towards that bent arm planche position and go back to your shoulder stand, and then you can work the handstand push-up on top of that separately and then start to combine them together. So there's a few different ways of doing it. If I was coaching you, I'd be looking at where's your gaps in that range of motion. Can you hold the bottom position? Can you hold the top position? How strong is your deficit handstand push-up already? If that's nice and strong, we could do deficit handstand push-ups with that shoulder stand through to the bent arm planche as either a separate movement or combine it into one, but it'll be down to you in terms of what you can do with control for repetitions. Okay, hello Paul, thank you for the question. I mostly have 30-second freestanding handstand hold 5 to 10 times when I kick up, and can do 5 times 5 wall assisted handstand push-up. I also train the L-sit to shoulder stand, great, and find it comfortable. However, when I do a freestanding handstand push-up eccentrics, no deficit, I fall almost immediately or can't hold at the bottom position. I tried partial range and I can only get a very inconsistently. Do you have any advice how I should progress from the current stage, and how long would it take to achieve the freestanding handstand push-up at my current level? So there's a few questions there that are going to be challenging to answer without assessing where you're at. But what I'd be looking at doing is looking at the bottom position of your handstand push-up. So looking at that deficit handstand push-up position, that shoulder stand, see if you can hold the shoulder stand. If you can't, we definitely want to start to train that. And also what's probably likely here is when you're doing it up and down against the wall, your hands are more like this and not like this. So we want to make sure that we're coming down to that tripod position, so like the headstand position where the head's in front of the hands, and practicing that standalone, so trying to practice that bottom of the handstand push-up, so stepping into that position where your head is just touching the floor, and see if you can hold that for reps. If you can't, like practicing the pike handstand push-up where your shoulders and head comes forwards relevant to the hands and comes back again, just so you're getting that shoulder positioning. So we want to make sure with the handstand push-up that the first thing that happens is the shoulder actually goes away from the hands, the feet go back, and then you come down. We don't want to be going up and down vertically like you see like CrossFitters and stuff do against the wall, because for a freestanding version, we want to make sure that we've got that under balance control and we can push for our shoulders and chest to push back out of it and not stuck in this hands behind the head or hands in line with the head position. In terms of how long it's going to take you to get it, it's all down to how much balance you have if you want freestanding handstand push-ups. But I would definitely be adding in things like crow to handstand, because that's going to teach you how to catch that bottom position. And you can even go, if you've got the speed and control to do it, you could go L-sit to shoulder stand up to handstand. So just use momentum to kick you out of it. Obviously, it's going to be dependent on how much balance and control you have in the freestanding handstand. I can't do even one handstand push-up with wall assistance, chest to wall. Can I learn it? There's another one from him. How much handstand push-up on the wall should I be able to do before I start practicing the freestanding handstand push-up? So I'll be working pike handstand push-ups to get your reps, to learn the shoulder position relative to the hands as it comes in and out and taking the shoulder back and forth. I'll be doing slow eccentrics against the wall and just doing a slight partial range to come back up again. And then when you get strong enough, you should be able to then do deficit eccentrics against the wall, to start to play with concentrics against the wall, while also trying to make your freestanding handstand as strong as possible and getting really comfortable in under balance in the handstand. Okay, wherever I try freestanding handstand push-up, when I come down, I lose balance. Any tips you can give? So I'll be working slow eccentrics against the wall with the toes very, very lightly kissing the wall. And then obviously if you can walk back up the wall with your feet or slide back up the wall, perfect. If not, work really slow eccentrics. Work on your freestanding handstand balance, of course, and also practice that bottom position, that shoulder stand. Get very, very strong in a shoulder stand position. And then you should start to fill the gaps. Once you get your freestanding balance good, the bottom position good, and be able to slide down the wall with control, learning that shoulders forwards, head in front of the hands, and obviously pike handstand push-ups to keep the repetitions there to get the strength. Problem about handstand push-up is balance while going upwards. Please tell me how to fix it. So I'll be exploring the eccentrics, the partial range, crow to handstand, that type of thing. Sliding up and down the wall, very close to the wall with the toes just kissing the wall as you go up and down, and just probably making your eccentric very, very slow. And remember to use that overbalance to help scoop you back out again without going too much into a banana. Add all those things together and that should start to make a bit of sense, or at least highlight what you need to work on. When doing them against the wall, what position should our feet, hips be in front and back? Is it better to do on parallettes or on flat surface? How far forward should your head go in this exercise? How do I keep alignment in my elbows? Do I need to be able to hold a freestanding handstand for handstand push-ups? So you could just train handstand push-ups against the wall and not do freestanding. Most people want to progress to that freestanding, so I'd definitely be working a freestanding handstand by itself and then working handstand push-ups at the same time, and then eventually they're going to come together. I'll be practicing your shoulder stand position to teach you how far forward your head and shoulder needs to be, and then play with your hand position away from the wall, play with the pike handstand push-up, and just explore how far your head and shoulder needs to come forwards for your limb length, your strength, your mobility and things like that, because everyone's hand position is going to be slightly different. I know when I go into a handstand push-up, I take my hand from my normal handstand position, I go wider, I externally rotate. If I'm doing 90-degree handstand push-ups, I'll rotate even more, maybe go a little bit wider again. So you need to find out where you're comfortable to balance, to have maximum strength, whether that's against the wall or away from the wall. So there's a little bit of ownership there that you need to take and just play around and explore and just find out what works best for you. But also look at the demo videos that I put up and also other people put up who have good handstand push-ups, and look for similarities into elbow position, hand position, shoulder and head. The further the head and shoulder comes out, the further the feet go backwards. So they should mimic each other, like create that seesaw position where they work together. So we don't want to be like this. We want to make sure that the feet go over a certain amount depending on how far the shoulders go in front of the hands. After how many handstand push-ups with wall can we start to freestand handstand push-up? It's very hard to say. I know people that can do one handstand push-up against the wall and they're very close to getting one handstand push-up freestanding because their balance is very good and they know how to control it. I can actually get more repetitions freestanding than I can against the wall because my balance is so good and I know how to use that overbalance. So it's a very tricky question to answer, but basically what I'll be doing is keep working your handstand away from the wall, get your balance very, very strong, work eccentrics, work crow to handstand and things like that, that you can do a little bit easier away from the wall, and then just keep working that strength on the wall. If your reps are very low on the wall, keep the pike handstand push-ups coming, do things like dips to keep that strength in the shoulders, the chest and the triceps. I've been greasing the groove daily by doing wall-assisted handstands for 45 seconds each, multiple times throughout the day. Some days I get it more than others, but in general, do you believe this is enough to eventually achieve a free handstand? This is not to mention other forms of weightlifting and swimming I also do. So in terms of this, so this isn't really handstand push-ups, this is about freestanding handstand. So yes, wall assist handstands against the wall for 45 seconds is great. You're gonna build that conditioning for upper body, but you do need to start exploring with the balance drills. So heel pulls and toe pulls, you just wanna be doing those 4 or 5 times a week for a few repetitions. Learn to pull off the wall using the fingertips for the back to wall heel pulls. learn to pull off the wall, pull the toes off the wall in a toe pull position and get that under balance control, being able to push on and off the wall. They're two easy exercises that I recommend everyone should become really good at if they want to have a strong freestanding handstand, plus a conditioning hold, which you're already doing, so that's awesome. So I'd just be adding that heel pulls and toe pulls into it. Okay, that's all the questions on the 2 videos that I put up. In the next handstand push-up video, I'm going to critique your videos. Some of you already sent in your training clips to my Instagram via DM. So I'm going to give you feedback on what you're actually doing, which is a lot easier for me to do. And it's a really cool way that you guys can learn from each other. So if you want to be included in that video, send me over your training clips. Oh, and I'm going to be in the UK in August. So I'm going to do at least 1 workshop. Sunday the 13th of August, I'm going to be at CrossFit Watford. So that's northwest of London. So if any of you guys can make it, that would be awesome. And I'll be putting some info up as soon as I get all the details sorted. Speak to you soon. Thanks, guys.